If you want to work with project management with Trello, you are in the right place, so let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to TechExpress. My name is Steven. In today's tutorial, we're going to be focusing into how to work with your project management using the great tool called Trello. So, as usual in this tutorial, we're going to be discussing about the actual management tool, in this case, what is Trello. I'm going to be focusing into set up a Trello account for beginners, so you're going to be understanding the Trello interface. We're going to be creating your first board. We're going to be managing lists and cards. We're going to be focusing into task management, checklist, collaboration features. We're going to be talking about the Trello power-ups, some common mistakes to avoid, and a few advanced tips and tricks that can helping you to boost a little bit more your project management inside the actual Trello. So with that being said, let's just get started. Now, you're going to have a link down below in the description so you can get a full access to Trello. You're going to be having a premium account for a specific due date, of course. If you wanted to check that out, different pricing tools, you can go directly into trello.com/pricing. But you can see they have the standard and the premium plan. As you can see, there are prices that are really affordable. For today's video, we're going to be focusing into the standard plan only, so you have the free trial version. Then later on, you can focus into the free version or to stick up with a standard version for an actual low price. So once you click into the link down below, you're going to be seeing something like this. It's going to be asking you to create an account inside Trello. What we actually do is to work with Gmail, so all our information should be added automatically and we can focus into what matters most, which is the project management. So in this page, what we actually love to do before working into project management is to setting up correctly our actual account. And to do that, you can focus or skip this part if you wanted to, but if you wanted to focus into having a really great profile, what you wanted to do is to just focus into the right part where you have your actual icon there, and you can go into manage account or profile and visibility. So you can manage your personal information here, speak about your username, your bio information to save that, and you're actually good to go. You can change the activity, the cost, the setting, all of that should be added directly into your profile view. You can change the language here later on. Have the email notifications if you don't want to get a lot, but truly a lot of notifications there. You can delete, let's say for example, when a card moved, created, attachment added, you can just unselect them. You removed a card and you just wanted to receive emails for due dates or added changes or approaching on a card you're actually watching. So now, before we talked about how to work with the Jira software, both of them actually work with installation, but here into Trello, the difference is that this one is a little bit much more easy to use. So for people who wanted to work with a few collaborators and with some project management only for yourself, I believe that Trello could be more accessible for us. So in order to get started, we wanted to understand how the actual workflow works. So if you go here into your workspace, you can see that in my case, by default, we have created a new one once we have created an actual website, or in this case, only an actual project. I can create a new one if I wanted to, so I can not focus in the, so let's say for example, here, this workspace name, once again, it's called the actual TechExpress. So the workspace type should be something about marketing. Now, workspace description, you can add something or not. In my case, I'm just gonna add 3 dots and hit now into continue. So you can invite your teams inside your project. In this case, I wanted to work for my actual project management for myself. So let's go into I will do this later. And now, as you can see, I have an actual new board. I can hit into edit, so I can change the short name. The website is totally optional, and the actual description of my actual workspace. I can change even the logo if I wanted to. So let's go here. For example, I'm going to go here into downloads, and I go and focus into this one, and we're actually good to go. Now, as you can see, I have different board templates, so I can get started with something that has already been created. It can be helping me to focus into just adding the project stuff as we're actually getting started to work in here. For example, let's go into the template of the project management. So I have all the information about this actual board. For example, manage projects to the perfection. I have the resources, questioning here for next meeting. I have pending, blocks, done elements. I'm going to hit into OK, I got it. And by default, you should see that I have something already been created. And it actually looks really great. So As you can see, I have all the board members in here. I have the project management section of the project results, questioning for the next meetings, the to-do list, the pending, blocked stuff, of course, and stuff that has already been done. So those stuff, this is just as an example of how it's going to be looking. Of course, you can add gifs and make this a little bit much more easier to understand and what is the actual problem though. And there we go. So I have the table view of how it's going to be looking, all of that. And as you can see, I have due dates, the members of them. I have different labels, for example, one more step, a design, team, priority, designs, and much more. If you're okay with that, let's go for create the board from the actual template. So let's go here into title. And once again, let's type the track express board. Workspace should be added inside the text express section. You can keep the cards and you can keep the template cards if you wanted to. If you don't, you can delete the two of them and hit now into create. And just like that, my new board from the actual template we chose are now going to be created. So let's focus into the actual next step. So as you can see, we have the board section, the board view. This is how it's going to be looking. You can change this from the table we have seen how it's going to be working, or you can choose a new one. If I clicked in here with the customizable views, I can add up to 5. I have the calendar, the dashboard, the timeline, and the map. Really important, guys, that all of this are just able for an actual account that has a premium plan. If you have a free version, it would be only allowed to have the board plan available. So it's really important, guys, that you understand which one fits for you the best. In our case, let's say that I wanted to focus only for the board, so you can guys understand how this actually works. Let's go and get started with our very first card inside the boarding version. So here I have the project results, I have the cards, and I have my YouTube video number 1. I'm going to hit into add the card, and as you can see, my card is going to be now added automatically. If I hit into there, I do have more information about the actual video. So I have the notification, the description, the activity, and in the right part, I can add different cards. For example, I can add how many members are working in here. Let's say, for example, only myself. What are the labels of it? So as you can see, I do have these labels. In this case, I can change the colors if I don't want to see them. So I can go here into labels. Let's go for one more step. I'm going to click here and let's go for marketing, for example. And I hit into save. Design team, I can go into edit. Let's go for published, save. And let's go for Trello trip. I'm going to go for recorded and save. You wanted to focus into what matters the most, speaking about your labels, can be helping you to figure out what is the phase you're actually working with your customers. In this case, with my team members only. So I can go here into edit, and let's say I'm going to go for edited, or let's go for past production. Really easy to work with, right? Let's go into save. And now I have the priorities of the different labels speaking about my project, which is creating and managing YouTube videos. So let's go here back, and now I can add the label of the YouTube video. Let's go for recorded. And there we go. As you can see, here's my label. I have the description. This is for my first video stuff. There we go. And I can hit now to save, and we're actually good to go. So now I'm going to hit into the X mark, and there we go. So what I can do now is that if I now work with a new section, let's say, for example, that I'm working for the questions for next meeting, I'm going to move this in here or move this into to-do list and much more. If I wanted to change the look of how it's going to be looking my card section, the list, of course, I can hit into the 3 dots, and what I can do is to create a new rule or to edit what I am seeing here. For example, I have the blocked, the done, pending, to do. So usually what I do is to delete the blocked, or only delete the questions for next meeting actually. So I can achieve this list. Project results. First, let's move this into the to-do list, and I have the achieve the actual list. So There we go. So now what I can do is to try to add something else inside here. So let's say, for example, that I wanted to change the cover, for example. And here into the cover, I can search for a photo. So here into the photo, let's say that I have only YouTube, and I choose this one. Just wait a few seconds here. And there we go. So it kind of looks now much more interesting, right? So I can go from to do to pending, and I can just start to move on into what is actually really important. So if I go into the to do, for example, I can go and add another list. For example, let's say that I have now created the CEO of the project. So I can go into add the listing, and we have done all of this information. I can click and the label is now from recorded to marketing, and the YouTube video number 1 is no longer YouTube video number 1. It's now been called how to work with Trello, for example, for beginners. And there you go. So this is how we can work inside Trello. Now let's focus into what is a little bit much more interesting, which that would be a few power ups. If I clicked in here, you might see that we have this small section that says power ups. If I just scroll a little bit down, you can see that I have the add power ups. Now I'm going to click in it, and if you have worked with other several project management tools, you might be calling these power ups as plugins or integrations. So this one is going to be helping us to make your work a little bit much more interesting, easier, and for a lot of people, let's say going much more faster. So if I go here into the categories, let's see, for example, that I'm working for analytics and reporting. So these power ups are going to be helping me to work with a timeline calendar, time tracking in by plan away. I have analytics of the team and Gantt. I have amazing fields. I have data highlighter. I have card, time, and list. I have the metrics for Trello. There's a lot of elements that you can choose actually. So you can figure out which one fits for you the best, and you can go into the feature actually, so you can see which one actually works for a lot of people, which are the most popular, and maybe those can be helping you actually a lot. So I'm going to scroll a little bit down, and as you can see, we have, for example, let's try email for Trello. So I can go here into add. I hit into add once again, and my power up should be having the email for Trello. I agree. Authorize send board. I choose the one that says allow. And now my new power up should be added automatically. So I can create your mailbox into Trello. Let's go into the quick start. And as you can see, I have this mailbox with this address, so I can use it for different, in this case, let's say, for example, some customer support. So I can set up my account, and I have inbox at textpress3.sendboard.com. Maybe it might be just a little bit, let's say, high enough or too wider, but in this case it's going to be actually really helpful for people who wanted to get started with their actual company and all of that. So just go into setting up your account, and just like that, we now have an actual mail. So let's go and click into the X mark. I'm going to copy this actual mail, and there we go. So with this email, what I can do is to send, receive, and automate my email into Trello. So I have the shared inbox in Trello. I can use the make team better and get started in 30 seconds. So this email for Trello actually works really great. So what I can do is to go back, actually go into the settings section from the email for Trello, edit the power up setting. And here what I can do is to choose my account, and here I can choose my email address. So I'm going to paste that, continue the settings, and now here I have the name and the information of my subscription. So I'm going to hit now to save. Once everything has now been successfully added, let's go back into the boards. Let's go back into our card, and here into the power ups, I have the send board. So I have the new email or to assign an actual contact. So for example, let's say that I wanted to go here, add an email, and I'm going to go for contact starstudios@gmail.com, right? and the subject, how to work with Trello for beginners. This is for you. And I can add an image if I wanted to. In my case, I'm going to not focus into that a lot. Just go into send. You can add a caption if you wanted to. And there we go. I have now the send board added. What I'm going to be doing actually, just to make sure that this actual send board works for me, I'm going to open my Gmail. I'm going to open the one where I send it. And as you can see, I do have the actual mail sended by default. So as you can see, this is for you. Vent, breathe well. And if you focus into who sent the email, I'm going to go into the upper side to me, like this, reply to inbox at textpress3.sendboard.com. May not usually be like the actually to have a really long email, but it's really awesome that we have a custom email that can be helping us to send emails as we are getting started with this kind of sending stuff, information, Zooms, meetings, and all of that. So it's actually going to be really helpful for people who wanted to get started here to go into the next level with your company. So that's how we can work with the Power Apps. And there's so much more Power Apps to locate and work for. For example, I have the Advanced Approval by Ibarello. I have the Bulk Actions. You can add Slack. You can add Gantt charts. You have the timeline. And there's so much more to add. Even you can add the Gmail account. I can configure this one, install the Trello for Gmail, hit into continue, and I don't need to go inside the actual Gmail outside Trello. I can do everything inside Trello. That's why we actually wanted to use Power Apps. So it's a really great tool to use. It's something that in my case actually works truly a lot. So now let's go back into board. So now let's talk about something much more interesting to work in, and it's called the automations. Now automation can be helping you to do automatic stuff. Of course you have to do this manually, but let's say for example that I wanted to have I have to send emails every time I moved on from pending to blocked or the to-do list, or when I finished an actual task. I wanted to add an email reminder to all of them that I have just received the information, or I wanted to have like some meeting and I wanted to have all of them to be aware of that, and I have to do this by myself, so I can do the actual automation. So in this case, if I click into the element, into the board, into the actual code inside the board, I'm going to go here. Down here, I have the Power Up. So let's go focus a little bit down, and you have the automations. Now, once again, automation can be helping us to create buttons and rows to perform different actions on the Trello boards. Let's go here for the add button. And as you can see, I do have the create a custom button. So creating an actual button can be helping us to create our very first ASIN automation. So if you don't know how to get started with creating an actual button, you don't have to worry about it, because we can create whatever you actually want to with an actual template. So let's go, for example, have the card button, and now have the icon. Let's go and change this for like a robot, and here let's go for add action. So let's say, for example, that somebody just finished an actual checklist. So add the checklist name, checklist, to the card, or assign the item to me. So I can go here, or set the item due, or move the item due date, remove the due date from the item, reset all the checklists on the card, remove everything, all the complete items from the checklist, and I have all the checklist, and I can go here into add. And the checklist name, let's go here, for example, that would be called done. I hit into plus, and I hit into save. So that means I'm going to hit now into the checklist. So that means now that this automation stuff is going to be doing their work. So that means that when my complete items are onto the checklist called done, automatically all stuff of the item should be deleted. So I can go here into the board, and I can go here, change this from done, done, and done. Now let's do something much more easier. Let's say, for example, when the card moves, when a card is added to the board by me, when a card is added to the board by me, I'm going to go here into plus. Here's the trigger. Now, when this happens, we wanted to have an action. So let's say, for example, add a member, join the card, or add a member, add, let's say, for example, ourselves to the card. And I have the trigger. Once again, when a card is added to the board by myself, the action should be having myself as a member to the actual card. So I review it. If I like what I see here, I'm going to hit now into save. Now my rule should be actually added here inside the rules section. So how do I make sure this actually works? You want to make sure this one has the enabled one. Now let's say that I wanted just to figure out if the rule actually works when a card is added to the board by myself. So let's go back into our actual board. Let's go back into the board and I'm going to hit to add a card. So let's say, for example, that now I have video number 2. And here I'm going to type video number 3. Check out how automatically appears my actual account in here, because the automation does their work. And as you can see, members, I have myself. Now, if I go back into the actual automations, let's try to go back once again into the automations. I'm going to go here into the checklist. So I'll just go for edit or add a new button, create a new one. Let's go back into my rules and I want to disable the automation into this board. So that means that I can go back into my board. I'm going to add a new card and this one should be video number 3. Now, as you can see, I am now assigned it automatically. I have to do this manually. I have to go in here and I go for members, should be myself, and there we go. This is the reason why we use automations a lot, because you're going to be saving tons of time. So once you have added one automation, it might be taking you from like less than 1 minute, but you don't have to do this every single time. You just have to do this once. And once you have done this, all the actions should be automatically added. So let's go here and to the rules once again, and I wanted to enable the automation on board. And we're actually good to go. This is something really easy for people who wanted to save time and do everything, and all the steps are done automatically. There's a lot of automations that you can work with. I'll just use this as an example so you can see how easy it is to work inside the automations into Trello. Now, 2 common things that a lot of people do when they actually work into the board is that they actually don't have used of labels. Labels are going to be helping you to organize all your content, all your cards when you are working in here. So if we actually work with automations, they can be helping us to do this by itself. Or you can just do that when you create an actual one. For example, I have labels, and in this case, let's say, for example, that all my work actually work with product marketing. So I can add an automation when you create an actual board, create or add the label of the product marketing. So it's really important to add labels. And number 2 is to add due dates. Now, due dates are going to be helping you to understand, to let's say, to try to be constant on what you're actually working on. So dates, once again, it truly is going to be truly important to add an actual due date so you can understand how much time you have to create your work, or team members to create your work, so you can have the actual work done. So this one is going to be helping you a lot, but truly a lot, to make your actual boarding stuff to go in fluently. So with that being said, guys, we have now reached to the very end of the video, guys. You now know how to get started with cards. You now know how to use different points of view. You now know how to work with the actual power-ups. We now know how to use some automations. And lastly, guys, what I want to do just to finish this is to work into my actual dashboard. The dashboard should be checking all of the information that I have done so far inside a specific project, and see how much progress I have done so far inside my actual team board. So once again, you're gonna have a link down below in the description, guys, so you can have this free trial of the premium plan, because it's really awesome to have the Trello premium plan. Of course, you have a free version, but you want to try that out, the premium plan, for the next 14, even 15 days. So you have the link down below in the description. So with all of this being said, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see so much more amazing tools that can helping you to manage your project like a pro. So thank you once again for watching the video here, guys, into TechSpress. I'm going to be leaving you once again the link down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and well, see you next time.